We got to ask ourselves these questions more often. We got to ask ourselves if we're passionate about the campaign that our marketing department is currently involved in. Because there couldn't be any truer words spoken than to say that enthusiasm is contagious, right? Enthusiasm is contagious. If you're fired up about it, you can feel it in the work that you do. We got to ask ourselves, are we passionate about this campaign? Are we passionate about what we're doing and putting in front of our customers? And with these 4 steps, if we want to put a marketing twist and a marketing language on it, if our team is passionate about the campaign, and then also the campaign that we're doing is in our strength zone. Talk to the gentleman in the third table back there. He was asking earlier during the question and answer. He said, what should we be doing? We're a small team, small shop, and we have the decision to do video or blogging. And then, there's an answer to that question. Here's my suggestion or perspective. What's your team good at? Where are your strengths, right? Didn't our speakers repeatedly say up here, it's better to do one thing well than to do everything poorly? What's the strength of your team? If this campaign is within your strengths, but then also aligned with the things that your customers and your clients like, and they enjoy, it resonates with them, and it's also been field tested, now I think we're on to the right thing. Step 5. It's about grit and determination and perseverance and stick-to-itiveness. On the beginning of any journey, or you could even say at the beginning of any marketing campaign, it looks like this. This is not a Mark Lindquist original idea. You've seen this before. At the beginning of a journey, it's A, B, 1, 2, easy peasy, here we go. But anybody who's successful in this room, don't you know? Right? It's like some mess. You got a plan. That's great. But then life throws you what? Little curveball, right? You thought you were going to go left, but you had to go right. You thought you were going to go up, but you had to go down. This is what it is, right? How many people have been in the field of marketing 5 years plus? Raise your hand. Keep them up if it's 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40? We got a lot of experience in this room, right? A lot of hands up through 10, 15, 20, 25. Now, raise your hand if you work with somebody in the field of marketing that's been in marketing less than 5 years. Do you work with somebody who's been in this thing less than 3 years? Less than 2 years? Less than a year? Less than 6 months? Less than 3 months? Less than a month? You haven't told them where the bathroom is yet? They're here, right? They're new, they're green, they're fresh, they're bright-eyed, they're bushy-tailed, they're right out of the gates. Here's my suggestion. For those of us who answered on the first rounds of questions with all that experience, 5, 10, 15, 20 years plus in this thing, when it comes to the people that are here and new and bright-eyed, bushy-tailed at the beginning of the journey, if you've got that experience in this room, isn't it our responsibility with all those years of experience, isn't it our responsibility to make sure that that new person, young and green, comes to the One Squared Conference in 10 and 15 and 20 years as fired up about marketing as when they started? Isn't that on us? If you got all that experience, now's not the time to hoard the wisdom, right? Now's the time to give back, get involved in a committee, do some mentoring, do like the panelists did up here today. Give back to your field. Share some of that wisdom. As Jack Lemmon says, once you arrive at a certain place in your life, it's your responsibility to send the elevator back down so that the next generation can rise up. I was sitting there in my chair earlier listening to the brilliant panel, and I think it was Jessica that had said something about, a lot of times our marketing efforts aren't necessarily targeted toward Generation Z or the millennials because they're the young folks in society who don't necessarily have the buying power, the assets that a lot of big organizations are targeting. On the journey, they're here. But if I know anything about sales, marketing, and driving revenue, I know that if I'm living fat and happy and living off of the big clients that pay my bills today, but I neglect filling the pipeline, boy, there comes a few quarters where I'm wondering where I'm going to get my next meal, right? Don't stop until you reignite the passion for your entire client base, not just the ones that are paying the bills today. Fill that pipeline.